anyone wishing to address the committee may do so at this time.
Linda Noe, 2343 Joe Stevens Road. I was here at your marathon session on Saturday, the 18th or whatever it was. It's hard to remember anymore with those, particularly when you've gone through that. 5 hours, and boom, the budget's there. And then here we are, you're ready to recommend something. I just want you to know you need to look at page 3 of your, or tab of the budget you were given. You need to be concerned about the tax rate history. It shows roughly a 10-year history, and the school's property tax rate, property portion of the tax rate that they get, has decreased in half. 1/2 cut in the school's property tax rate over the past 10 years, roughly. And look at the general fund rate, what is being used for the general fund, and it has increased about 70%. You can't keep doing that. This swapping money around like you're doing this year. Take another portion, take another 6 cents from the schools, put it on the general fund. When everybody knows and everybody said roads are the problem. The roads that have been neglected for 20 years. There are records that show in a couple of years there were no roads paved, no appropriation of money for roads. Who does this? Why do you keep doing the same thing? Cut the schools. Put it in the general fund. People thought the wheel tax was going to go to roads. No, it never went there to begin with until you passed this most recent one and everybody got on you and you come up with this, oh, we've got an agreement now, we're going to pave roads. Look at the history of the tax rates, look at the history of spending, and stop it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have anyone else that wishes to address the committee? Okay. Let's move forward then. Item 4, new business. I'll ask the mayor to address 4A, budget committee, open items and updates.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, what I guess the process I'd like to go through is address each budget for each fund, and you vote as a committee on the budget for each individual fund as a recommendation to the full commission, which will meet on the 20th, and for final adoption, along with the budget resolution, the tax resolution, and the nonprofit resolution. Those are the 3 items that you'll vote for. I want to start with the school system, and as far as maintenance of effort, what the school system asked for basically was just continued the maintenance of effort of the $27,356,092. I think this is somewhere around the 4th year that we've been at this amount for maintenance of effort, and under the new funding formula for schools, what the state minimum is for us is about $22 million, and so we fund more than what is required, and also part of the new formula too is that counties cannot reduce. If you funded more when that went into place like we do, you can't reduce it. And so this is the 2nd year under the new funding formula at $27,356. So the the school maintenance of effort would be 27,356,092. Now, the next, let's see, so that's, the next slide is just the spreadsheet that I put together every year on the actual breakdown for school funding. And in this plan to generate the 27 million is moving 6 cents of property tax to the general fund and increasing the budget for sales tax to by $1.2 million. This year, we are anticipating collecting about over $31 million for schools, and that'll be about $3.8 million more than the maintenance of effort. So $3.8 million will go into their fund balance at the end of this year, and they'll use some of that for capital. What they showed you for their capital projects will be some of this fund balance money. And then for next year, 24-25, we would increase the sales tax by 1.2 million, reduce the property tax by 6 cents, and still generate 3.1 million more than the maintenance of effort, which would go into their fund balance to be used for capital in fiscal year 25-26. So those are the two figures, key figures in the revenue stream, local revenue stream for schools. Now, on this next slide, talking about sales tax distribution, of course, the law is that in local option sales tax, the first 50 cents of every dollar goes to the school system. We're anticipating next year generating over $22 million in sales tax, which is about $642,000 more than last year, or the year we're in currently. And then in the far right column in this table is what we would recommend that we distribute the sales tax, the second half of the sales tax, which goes to highway, 200,000 to highway, and 1.9 million to solid waste. The general fund sales tax, that's a specified tax for general fund sales. It's a communication tax of some kind, and it's about $1,000, between $1,000 and $2,000 a month. So it's not substantial. But what I would ask is, that first, Mr. Chairman, is that the committee vote on the sales tax distribution concept that's before you. Vote on that, and then vote on the property tax move, and then the school budget.
Very good. Do we have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Doty, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Horner, wonder if it's roll call.
Yes, it needs to be roll call, but we might want clarification that the first motion was on sales tax distribution.
Right.
Okay, just making it clear.
How do we stand with our voting?
Full committee.
Yeah, this
full
is full
committee.
committee.
On this, full.
Yes,
Okay.
it's full committee. Yes, sir.
All right, call the roll.
Are you going to take questions, sir?
Sure, I'm sorry, thank you.
No, thank you. Mr. Mayor, and the way that I read it before, when they had the sales tax before you went swapping around, they had a lot.
It's called managing. It's
Well-
called managing.
Okay, well, I stand corrected, sir. I think of your buckets, and that's why I said swap, darling, so no insults intended. But in the past, they came out a whole lot better with the sales tax, and we definitely don't want them to be in deficit. We want to take care of our schools above all else, the same as we do our roads. I don't have children in the school, but I feel like it's important so that we can keep it. So the way that you have presented this, will they come out with as much in total as they did before?
If you look at what I just explained at the bottom of the local revenue for education page, then you'll see that this year we're estimating that they will receive $3.8 million more than the maintenance of effort. And next year, And that 3.8 million includes about a 6% increase in sales tax. That's how much sales tax has grown this fiscal year. We're just projecting a 3% increase for next year. So with the 3% increase, the revenue projection for schools is 3.1 million more than maintenance of effort.
I'm sorry, I didn't clarify my question to you. I know in the past, with the sales tax, they came out a whole lot more over the maintenance of effort. So my question is, will they still come out with, and I called it an excess before, and that probably was a poor term to put it in, but will they come out as well as they did before?
They're based on my projections for sales tax for next fiscal year, where we budgeted 3% instead of what we had this year at 6%. It will be about 700,000 less.
Okay. Will that put them in a hole, since they're looking at the new schools and some other things as well that are very much needed?
It'll give them 3 million more than maintenance of effort.
That didn't clarify my question, but okay, thank you.
Ms. Howell?
You know, the other thing is we've got a new jail, about to open and all of that, and, with this health department. And, so if they're doing okay and they haven't asked for more than, you know, we are more than meeting. My question is, you know, I don't want the new jail and the health department and all, everything pop up and we go, and we've already put money in, you know, in an area that is okay. I guess that's my question. The gorilla in the room is, we don't know what's gonna look like when the jail opens up.
Well, I mean, I think we've done a pretty good job estimating, but like you say, we won't know exactly until it opens and runs
Guess
for
what
a
I'm
year.
also asking is, what's in our sock drawer? I see what's going into the school.
We'll go through that.
Yes, sir, thank you.
We'll go through that.
Anyone else? Anyone else?
I think it's,
Mr.
Chairman,
Cutshaw?
I just think it's important to note that with these projections, that the school system will receive 3 million more than what's required of our county. I think that's really nice.
Me too.
And also, it keeps us from having to increase our maintenance of effort with what's going on. I just think that point needs to be understood, that it's a really good position to be in at this point. And even next year's estimations with conservative effort, we're still 3 million good.
Mr. Naismith?
If sales tax happens to really, we hope not, bottom out next year, the school's gonna come up short
No, sir.
compared to this year.
Well, I think we've still been conservative enough, Wayne, in that we've estimated at 3% increase rather than 6%. And that's what, 2 years ago, it was 10%. Sales
Okay.
tax was just going through the roof, and we'd had a lot of new retail development, and the economy was going gangbusters, and it's still going very well here. And so it was like 10%. And this past year, it's been a 6% growth. And so we're anticipating and just being conservative and estimating at 3%. So I
Growth's
think
been coming down.
as far as, yes. But it's still, I mean, a 3% growth, a 6% growth is still very healthy,
Yeah.
you know, and 3% is healthy. And now, during the Great Recession, we did have a decline back in 08, 09.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions?
Chairman,
Yes.
Mayor, we do have a healthy fund balance. I know you'll probably get into that
In schools, or which fund?
in general fund.
Oh, yes. Yes. We'll go through that, yes.
Mr. Richardson?
Mayor, the increase in our 3% increase we're talking about is over and above what we received this year.
Correct.
So even though it's only 3%, we're projecting it as an increase of an increase of an increase.
Correct, yes.
Thank you.
Kind of interest on interest, with no obligation
Confounded,
to us. Anyone else?
confounded.
Okay, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Debbie Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Edna Green,
No,
Stan Harville,
Yes.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Peggy Howe,
Yes.
Joe Huntsman,
Yes.
Rodney Long,
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith,
Yes.
Mike Reed absent, Mike Richardson,
Yes.
Al Walker absent. So it's 12, Joe's 11.
Okay, motion passes 11-1. Mr. Mayor?
The next item I would ask for a vote would be on the property tax distribution. So it would be 85 cents to general fund, 48 for schools, 43 for debt service, and 21 cents on the outside rate for sanitation.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion to do so.
Thank you, Mr. Cutshaw. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Ahern, thank you very much. Glad to have you back. Do we have any discussion? Questions for the mayor? Let's go ahead and vote the motion. You'll call the roll.
Debbie Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Edna Green,
no,
Stan Harville,
Yes.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Peggy Howe,
Yes.
Joe Huntsman,
Yes.
Rodney Long,
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith,
Yes.
Mike Richardson,
Yes.
1 no,
Motion passes 11-4, 1 against. Mr. Mayor?
The next item is the school budget and appropriating what they've requested with a school maintenance of effort of $27,356,092.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Harville, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Richardson. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I think one of the other things, is just comment more than the question, is we have to understand too that the state is putting a whole lot more money into education now with this new funding formula, which is why us being ahead is even better. So we're in no way neglecting the schools.
Thank you,
BLP,
Mr. Harville. Anyone else?
BLP, is that more from the state now?
There is no such thing as that anymore.
Okay, let's vote the motion.
Right.
Call the roll.
That's it.
Debbie Ahern,
Abstain with cause.
Chris Cutshaw,
Abstain with cause.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Edna Green,
no,
Stan Harville,
Yes.
Bobby Hahn,
Abstain with cause.
Tim Horner,
Abstain with cause.
Peggy Howe,
Yes.
Joe Huntsman,
Yes.
Rodney Long,
Abstain with cause.
Wayne Neesmith,
Yes.
Mike Richardson,
Yes.
6 yes, 1 no, 4, 5 abstain.
Okay, we have 6 yes, 1 no, 5 abstain. Let me clarify, we did abstain for cause, and the reason is, I think I can speak for everyone, we were for this, but we also have a relative spouse working within the school system, and that would be a conflict of interest for us to vote. So that's why we abstain for cause. So motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And just to clarify for the public as well, as it applies to committee action and not, and when you vote on the full budget, you can vote for the full budget. Okay, next would be the general fund. And just to go through a few things, and I'll ask for some individual votes on some items that's included in the general fund budget. In the general fund, it's a deficit of just over $4 million. We reduced our expenditures between draft 1 and draft 2 just to also there's $2.2 million in capital. So for operations, the deficit is less than $2 million. And again, remember, if you look at the chart at how we've grown fund balance since 2017, and we've done that by the philosophy that I've tried to follow, and that is estimate low on revenues, and then they come in, and we end up in the black. Previous years we've been in the red, not this much, but we've been in the red, and come out in the positive because of our revenues came in stronger, and our departments manage well. They don't spend all their money, and they do a very good job with that. In this budget, it includes funding 49 new employees for the Justice Center for a full year, and it has a reappraisal year for the assessor of property, so there's a few more expenses there for reappraisal. The capital of $2.2 million, most of that is the new health department, and actually it's not the health department space except for the architectural fees. It's the county space, the 9,000 square feet where ag extension would go, where the voting machine storage would go, and the coroners, the death investigators would have a small little space for storage in there. So that we've estimated that at about $1.5 million for that space. And again, that money won't be spent until it comes to you with the bids and see whether it's something we want to do or not. So, but it's budgeted in here, finishing that 9,000 square feet at $1.5 million. So that is in the capital side. And there's a 5% COLA for employees. Some of the changes that are in draft 2, where we increased business tax by $90,000. That's about a $200,000 increase total from last year to this coming year. We collected. You get your big business tax payment from the state in May, and we received that a couple of weeks ago, and so that caused us to feel comfortable with increasing the business tax on the revenue side. There is no city election next year, which we had anticipated because the state passed the governor signed the private act to eliminate the next city elections like 2 years away or 3 years away. So we removed that revenue from the budget because they reimburse us for it. Then on the expense side, we included the flock cameras that you voted on last time. We included $15,000 for a pay plan update. We had several department heads throughout the budget process who asked for raises for their people over and above a COLA. And so what we want to do is what we've done in the past. We try to do it about every 5 years, but the way that salaries have gone in all sectors in the marketplace is they've gone up more than we ever imagined. And so some of our departments are at a disadvantage in competition, competing for good employees and in retaining good employees, the good ones that we've already spent a lot of money training. So we put in the budget $15,000 for an update to our pay plan, and Larry Russell, individual who's done it for many years, will update it, and what he'll take information from other counties and city governments and compare it to what our pay plan is and make adjustments. The election commission, the $15,000 that we eliminated on the revenue side that would have been spent on the city election, we want to spend that on a new technology called TextMyGov. And what TextMyGov is it would allow citizens to sign up for text alerts from county government. And in our survey, if you remember, traditional, what I call traditional, from back in the day, so to speak, print, media primarily, that's not how people today get their information. So what they can do is sign up for this service, and we'll do a blitz for this, is they can get updates on elections. Because Jeff's, when our conversation on this was talking about how people say, well, I didn't vote because I didn't know about it. So this is a way for folks to sign up for notifications for elections, for emergency situations, if there's, whether it be weather, whether it be a car wreck on a certain street, we will be able to notify citizens on that. We can notify those who sign up for it. It's at no cost, so people to receive the texts. And for our employees, and for when we close the courthouse for weather, those kind of things. So people would get notifications. So it's a way to better communicate with the public. So that's why we're suggesting that. Then there's $1,000. We added $1,000 to the assessor's office. His field appraisers are going to go on to tablets and start inputting their data on tablets while they're out in the field. He's buying the tablets from some reserve money that he has specifically for technology. And then the $1,000 is for the hotspots so that they can transmit out in the field. The tourism, our state disc golf tournament was held this past weekend, and with 560 different golfers from various states and I think 1 or 2 foreign countries. And so it generates about $250,000 in economic activity. And so we need to increase our sponsorship by $1,000, and that's from $2,000 to $3,000. So a $3,000 investment in that event the return on investment has been very good. So we've added that $1,000. And then for the new Justice Center, with the date of the substantial completion date, we don't start paying the utilities until that substantial completion date. So it was moved back 60 days. So we reduced the utilities in the budget for the new Justice Center, our estimate. And so we reduced that by $50,000. And then on the liability insurance and the building insurance, since we won't be covered for a full year by the risk management trust, then we reduced that by $25,000 too. So we reduced that in the budget. Just a review of our capital projects, a new car for the building inspector, a couple of HVAC units, an engineer who I'm meeting with next week on the balconies, the MLK and Highway 160 project, the animal shelter expansion, the new health department match, which is most of the match was supplied by the building, our purchase of the building, and then this is for the architect work that'll be part of the other part of our match. And then $1.5 million in there for the county space, the 9,000 square feet. And then here's some items that I would like for you guys to take action on, and that's some requests for funding increases and then for new requests. And Mr. Chairman, what I would like to do is, they're in the budget totals. All these expenses are in there, but I would like for the committee to vote on each one and either vote it up or down, and then we can adjust the numbers. The first is the 911 increase, $17,091. Their overall local funding will increase, I think, by about $68,000, and the city will pay about $51,000 of it, and our share of it is $17,000.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Mr. Long, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Doty, thank you. Question?
I have a question on, you're talking about the text message thing.
Yes.
How are you said when you sign up, how you gonna sign up?
There will be a QR code on our website. that you can do it. There will be other, the company that, TextMyGov company will have about 3 or 4 different ways that you can sign up for it. And, Wayne, I can't rattle them off all right now, but there'll be a print, blitz, our website, our Facebook. We will get the word out.
Is that the same way that CTAX sends us messages all the time?
If you're signed up, pretty much any organization has notifications if you're signed up for them, and that's what this will do.
Will you be able to put different things on this? The public,
You can choose.
for instance, if you want to, this survey that we had some time ago, didn't get any, there wasn't hardly anybody signed, 600 people. The other people didn't know about it. I didn't know about it.
So yes, we can add that to it. Sure.
That
Add
might
that
be a
as
way you get,
notification.
that may be a way that you can get more people involved in county government if they know about it, something going on. It's hard to vote when you don't know.
And there's one way too of they will go through the phone numbers, the phone numbers that the election commission has on their records. They'll go through those numbers and they'll add them to their list. And then you'll have an option, if you receive a notification, you have an option to stop it or to exit and not receive those anymore.
Once you sign up, you get it automatic?
Yes.
Okay. Next question, what about that International Student Welcome Center?
We hadn't gotten there yet. That's coming up here in
I
a minute.
missed the boat then. I'm ahead of myself.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be a question when you
Okay.
Ms. Howell?
Yes, sir, thank you. Let's see, so the 5% COLA is for Hamblen County employees,
Correct.
okay? Not for this nonprofit,
Correct.
okay? So, are we providing enough money for, I mean, actually, everybody asks for more, yeah. But going back on the fact that we have such a robust, I'm wondering, so we're just increasing that $17,000 of the
Yes.
Hamlet, yeah.
Yes. And the overall local funding, they asked for 200,000 for overall local funding. And that's up between the city and county to divide. And then we've got a formula that and
Okay.
so as two local governments, we've decided to increase by 68,000. The city pays 51 and we pay 7.
City uses it more than,
That it's
Well,
part of
anyway.
the formula is based on calls for service. And
okay,
yes,
okay.
the top
Alrighty.
2 users are Morristown Police and the Sheriff's Department.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Ms. Green?
Quick question, being the law has changed as far as business tax, and if you make under 100,000, you only file for a minimal tax as far as business license, will that change your forecast any?
No.
Will the franchise tax difference where they no longer charge on assets, will that affect us?
That's a state tax.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Any other questions? Okay, we're voting on the Hamblen County E91, 17,091.
Debbie Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Edna Green,
No,
Stan Harville,
Yes.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Peggy Howe,
Yes.
Joe Hunchman,
Yes.
Rodney Long,
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith,
Yes.
Mike Richardson,
Yes.
11-1.
Votes 11-1, vote passes.
Next item is Morristown Hamlin Library. They asked for two different amounts. One was for capital and one is for operations. This 24,300 is for operations. They asked for the same amount from the city, and it's included in the city budget that they're voting on this month. It's for pay raises for their people as well as expanding their collection. And they're weeding out some of the old volumes that they have and want to add to their operation. The capital part of their request is we've put on hold. We're applying. We received one grant that will help update their technology, and then there's another grant that we're applying for. It's a broadband facilities grant that would redo their whole community room, and that's what they were asking $80,000 to do, and so that's not in this request.
So
So, wait a minute, let's get it on the board. Anybody have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Doty, I have a second.
Second.
A second from Mr. Horner. Now, Ms. Howell.
Oh, thank you. So, you know, they provide a service to folks who sometimes don't have a service anywhere else.
Are you talking like internet service?
No, sir.
Okay.
I'm talking about, you know, if they need, you know, furniture, or if they need, I don't know, an update in their restrooms and stuff like that, I hope we're not, tell me again why we're not going to 80? Yeah, maybe that's it.
Because we've applied for a grant that will pay for it.
I'm
So we're
liking
waiting-
that.
We're waiting to hear from that.
What now? All about it. Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
One
Thank
question,
you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Mr. Long.
What about their sewer system?
Yeah.
Is that included in?
No, they'll come back with that once they have some estimates from that. They've got some sewer issues in 3 different areas, I believe, and one is the sewer line is just disintegrated because it was built in the 1960s, and then there's a spot in the front of the building that's is leaking and causing problems. So there's some lines that need to be replaced, and they'll come back with that.
Any other questions?
Yes,
Ms. Howell?
And there's the point. The point is, I hope we have enough in our sock drawer to help them. Okay, good.
Amen.
Thank you.
Anyone else have a question? Call for the vote.
Debbie Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Edna Green,
No.
Stan Harville,
Yes.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Peggy Howe,
Yes.
Joe Huntsman, Rodney Long,
Yes.
Wayne Lee Smith,
Yes.
Mike Richardson.
Yes.
Motion passes 11-1.
The next item, Mr. Chairman, is these next 4 are requests for new funding. And one is from Marshtown Hamblen EMS, the ambulance service for, they were asking for 10 of the more automated stretchers, gurneys to go in the back of their ambulances. And in our meeting a couple of weeks ago, I think we settled on 6, which is $30,000 a piece, which is $180,000. $75,000 of it is in the general fund budget, and then the other 105 will come from the opioid money. So that's the plan right now. But in this budget is $75,000.
Motion to approve the EMS.
Second.
We got a motion, Mr. Harville, second, Mr. Long. Thank you. Do we have any questions? Ms. Howell?
Yes, sir, thank you. The opioid money finishes. I mean, is that it, or was it the COVID? Which one finishes?
COVID's gone. I mean, COVID's,
History, okay.
the opioid money is money that we have, right now, we have about $1.9 million
Okay.
in opioid money.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Anyone else?
Clarification on the second, please. Was that Mr. Mike or Rodney?
I said Rodney.
Okay,
Was it, am I right?
yes,
Okay.
just making sure.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, let's vote.
Debbie Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Edna Green,
No.
Stan Harville,
Yes.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Peggy Howe,
Yes.
Joe Huntsman,
Aye.
Rodney Long,
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith,
Yes.
Mike Richardson.
Yes.
11 to 1. Motion
Motion passes 11-1.
Mr. Chairman, the next item is Ready by Six, which you heard a presentation a couple of weeks ago during our budget workshop. And the request was for $10,000. We included $5,000 in the budget. This is an organization that works very hard to try to prepare children to enter school and help educate mothers and fathers and grandparents how to help their children.
Have a motion?
I make a motion.
Mr. Neesmith, we have a second.
Second,
Ms. Howell, thank you very much. Any questions?
Yep.
Ms. Howell?
yes. I'm all about the five. Who else funds them?
You want to help?
If I may,
Yes,
private donations, corporate donations.
Okay. Okay,
They-
because,
we raise all the funding.
okay.
And that's,
Okay, so
that's
they're-
where I used to be executive
Yes,
director.
sir,
of.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you, I should have asked you sooner.
Yeah.
Okay, she did a great job on the presentation, and, but I guess my point being, I wonder if the city does, because when that mama and that little
They
teeny
have been
tiny come
approached.
up, nobody says, are you city or county?
They've been approached.
Okay. Oh, they've been, okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you for answering the question.
Anyone else? Ms. Vogt?
Debbie Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Edna Green,
No.
Stan Harville,
Yes.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Peggy Howe,
Yes.
Joe Huntsman, Rodney Long,
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith,
Yes.
Mike Richardson.
Yes.
11 to 1.
Motion passes 11-1.
The next item is Friends of Hospice, the Serenity House. Again, another request for $10,000, and we placed $5,000 in the budget.
Motion.
A motion from Mr. Horner. We have a second. No, Horner. Second from Mr. Huntsman. Okay, thank you. Any questions? Mr. Neesmith?
Question, this is hospice, is, I think they said the other day they had room for 5 people. 5 people. Have they got a waiting list to get into hospice?
Chairman, may I address?
Yes, Ms. Ahern.
I used to work in hospice, so Wayne, I have a little bit of insight. There could be a waiting list. That's not always. And it's first come, first served. And since they're in stay in the Serenity House, it's just 3 months. That's all they have to stay. If they need longer services, they have to seek that elsewhere. So it's a pretty quick turnover, if you want to use that verbiage. Stephanie Hemmel, who's over the Serenity House, she will go out to visit the patient that's thinking about coming to Serenity House, and she's the one who makes that decision if they are appropriate for the Serenity House. So could there be a waiting list? Yes, sir, but it's not always the case.
Ms. Howell?
Yes, the other thing the Serenity House does is they have a Camp Hugs that if a child and surrounding counties, isn't Hamblen County wonderful, but in surrounding counties too, if there's a child in a school system and they lose a sibling, a grandparent, a parent, this camp is, let's see, it's going to be in October, early October, and so they provide that camp so that these kids can be around kids who have had a loss and yet have a fun time. And so Serenity is more than just hospice. They provide a lot. And I guess my follow-up question would be, I hope they get funding somewhere else. Okay. Very good, thank you, sir.
Anyone else?
Can you
No.
clarify the motion in a second? I have Joe
Motion was
Joe
Horner,
Huntsman,
no, excuse me, who was, the motion was
Joe
Tim Horner.
Tim Horner, and the second was Naismith. Yes,
Faith,
thank you.
Faith,
I know, I think,
It was Huntsman
I
second.
think Huntsman seconded on the Friends of Hospice,
Okay,
yes.
all right.
so Tim Horner,
Horner,
Tim Horner
Horner
and
and
Joe
Huntsman.
Betty Miller, she tried to get in a hospital, up there and couldn't get in, so she's got her house.
Betty Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Cuttshaw,
Aye.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Edna Green,
No,
Stan Harville,
Yes.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Peggy Howe,
Yes.
Joe Huntsman, Rodney Long,
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith,
Yes.
Mike Richardson.
Yes.
11-1.
Motion passes 11-1.
Lastly, Mr. Chairman, is the International Student Welcome Center. Had the discussion with Director Bunch and about the influx of immigrant children in the school system and the strain and drain that it has on the individual schools as they try to process the children and get their families to understand what's school, the demands of going to school, and what the expectations are. And so what this Welcome Center is in a partnership with, would be a partnership with the county and the school system and Ola Lakeway, is to have a central point where students who want to enter school and their families would go to Ola Lakeway, and that's where the school system would hire a retired school administrator to oversee the program and evaluate the children and connect the families with the school that they would be assigned to and do a language assessment. And this would take a lot of pressure and work off of the individual schools and do it all in one place, do it the same way with all the families, and then they'll go out to the schools and be enrolled in the schools. And I felt, personally, I felt like this is something that the county would want to take on and service our citizens this way.
So the school system will be in charge of it?
Correct.
Okay.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Richardson? Second. Mr. Doty seconds. Do we have any questions?
Where's it gonna be?
It's going to be at Ola Lakeway, where Evans Office Supply used to be. That's where Ola Lakeway is in that building. And that's where the families will go, be interviewed
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, needed.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Mr. Long?
Is there not any way the state of Tennessee has any money for this? We keep getting more and more, and our citizens in Hamblen County have to keep paying more and more. Is there not anything that Governor Lee has got on the table that, I mean,
I don't know, but we're going to find out. And we've got some meetings scheduled to find out.
Let's vote.
Betty Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Cuttshaw,
Aye.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Edna Green,
no,
Stan Harville,
Yes.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Peggy Howe,
Yes.
Joe Huntsman,
Yes.
Rodney Long,
yes.
Wayne Neesmith,
Yes.
Mike Richardson.
Yes.
11-1.
Motion passes 11-1.
All right, Mr. Chairman, Ms. Howe, you asked about sock drawer.
Yes, sir.
This is what this picture is.
Okay.
It just shows how we've built our fund balance up to the end of this year to 15 million, which is the most it's ever been. And so,
Okay.
we will use $4 million of it.
Yes, sir.
And so, but we still have plenty of reserve.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And then, Mr. Chairman, just vote on the general fund budget. That's what we have left.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Richardson, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Horner? Any questions? All right, if I see none, we'll vote.
Debbie Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Thomas Stody,
Yes.
Edna Green,
No.
Stan Harville,
Yes.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Warner,
Yes.
Peggy Howe,
Yes.
Joe Huntsman,
Yes.
Rodney Long,
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith,
Yes.
Mike Richardson.
Yes.
Motion passes 11-1.
And Mr. Chairman, the next budget would be the drug fund, Fund 122, and this is a fund that's, the monies that go into it are from drug fines and sale of confiscated property that the narcotics officers confiscate during their work. And the largest expenses in this budget are buy money, or what the undercover agents use to make buys from dealers, and then training. And there's also a supplement for the narcotics officers that they receive. So the budget is $94,000 is the expenditure side of it. And again, on the revenue side, that's mostly fine money. That's money that we collect generally from fines, and then as property is confiscated and sold, and the money goes in there, but we never really know from one year to the next how much of that it's going to be. So our fund balance would finish at about $240,000.
Make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Long has a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Ahern, second. Do you have any questions? All right, we'll vote.
Debbie Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Thomas Stody,
Yes.
Edna Green,
No.
Stan Harville,
Yes.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Warner,
Yes.
Peggy Howe,
Yes.
Joe Huntsman,
Yes.
Rodney Long,
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith,
Yes.
Mike Richardson.
Yes.
11-1.
Motion passes 11-1.
Mr. Chairman, the next budget is the sanitation, budget 116. We're spending about $103,000 of fund balance in this budget. There was one brush truck that was requested that is not funded in this budget. There was an increase for equipment repair from $70,000 to $270,000. Disposal fees went up by $95,000. Tipping fees went to $50 a ton, effective last July, and that was to help pay for the expansion of the landfill. Then our liability and workman's comp insurance increase, and then a 5% COLA. So, Mr. Chairman, it's about $100,000 we're using out of fund balance.
Do we have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Doty, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Horner? I have one question. Who sets the tipping fee?
The solid waste board,
It never comes before us.
no. It's an independent board. Mr. Horner's your representative on there, and the city has 4 members, the county has 4 members.
Very good. Any other questions? Ms. Green?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to get in front of you. I'm just curious. I noticed the increase in the equipment repair. What did they attribute that to? Because that's almost, God, that's more than 4 times.
$70,000 doesn't go very far. I
No,
can
it
tell you
doesn't.
that by experience.
I think too, and Amanda, you can look at it, that our history has been,
And it's increasing only 70, not 270. It was 200, and now it's going to be 270.
Okay,
Okay.
that helps.
I'm going to verify that.
Okay, so it's increased 70,000 to 270.
Okay.
Equipment's getting older,
Yeah.
like us, takes more maintenance.
Don't get into that now, Bobby. I'm older than you are. Let's not get into that one.
Okay, 270 total.
Um,
Any other questions?
Yes,
Ms.
sir.
Howell?
Yes, sir, thank you. So it's just normal that you're gonna refresh my memory here to get it out of the fund balance, just to,
It is, and again, remember our philosophy about estimating low on revenue.
okay. And the COLA is, I thought we had taken care of that earlier, but this is just a statement of.
This is for the sanitation employees. The 5% in the general fund are employees that are paid in the general fund out of this
Okay.
bucket here. And there's another sanitation bucket, and those employees are paid out of that one.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Do you have any other questions?
I have one, sir.
Yes, Ms. Green?
Is this the same department that the comptroller's office had the problem with, out of curiosity? Is this one of the departments, let me clarify my question, that the comptroller had questions regarding how they were paid and time clocks and so forth, out of curiosity?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Has that issue been resolved?
I think you'll hear about that Monday.
Okay, thank you. I look forward to it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Let's take the vote.
Debbie Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Edna Green,
No,
Stan Harville,
Yes.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Turner,
Yes.
Peggy Howe,
Yes.
Joe Huntsman,
Yes.
Rodney Long,
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith,
No.
Mike Richardson.
Yes.
10 to 2, motion.
Motion passes 10-2.
Mr. Chairman, the next fund is the Highway Fund 131. No equipment purchases are in this budget. Mowing tractor was requested. We have $200,000 of sales tax. The bulk of the revenue in the Highway Fund is the gas tax. And that's dedicated to highway work. And then we add, on the local side, we add $200,000 in sales tax and interest income. We've added $250,000 to balance the budget. And there's $180,000 in expenditures for paving of state aid roads, and the hot mix and the crushed stone, which are used for patching and preparing roads for paving, have been moved to 176, where the paving activity will be paid out of. And then there's the 5% COLA for employees.
Do you have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion. Who was it? Mr. Long, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Horner. Okay, we have, Mr. Neesmith, you have a question?
Yeah, how much money have we got for roads now?
We've got, or in the state aid program, we've got 180,000, and then the wheel tax money, you'll see in the next presentation, is $1.4 million.
And we won't be getting that money till the end of this year.
We will have, we'll start the year, we're estimating we'll start the year with about $800,000. And then every month, we collect a little over $100,000 in wheel tax. So there'll be money in the fall, there'll be some money to pay, but most of the activity will be in the spring.
Anyone else have a question? Vote.
Debbie Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Edna Green,
no,
Stan Harville,
Yes.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Peggy Howe,
Yes.
Joe Huntsman,
Yes.
Rodney Long,
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith,
No.
Mike Richardson,
Abstain.
Motion passes 9-4, 2 against, 1 abstain.
Next budget is Highway Capital Projects, and this is the fund where the wheel tax, the $27 wheel tax, or the $23 wheel tax went into, generating about $1,449,000 for paving. And then there's also $365,000 going into this fund in investment income, and that money is to be used for patching and road preparation, some road preparation. So the wheel tax money will be used for paving. The 1.449 will be used for paving. And in this budget document that you're voting on, there is no money appropriated. Now, the money's in the fund, but there's no appropriation for paving. So that requires the highway department to come to you to get funding for each project.
That,
Let's get it on the table, Mr. Neesmith. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Ahern, do I have a second? All right, Mr. Huntsman, thank you. Now, Mr. Neesmith?
this, you got like 1.4, $1.7 million. That's gonna do about 5 miles
Say 4.
of paving for our 440 miles of roads in Hamblen County. We just keep coming up short on roads.
9 miles.
Last I heard from Barry, it's about $300,000 a mile. So we're gonna get about 5 miles paved this year out of 440 roads in Hamblen County.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Mr. Dolan?
When we brought this in, it was told, this is not an end all. This is just a starting point. We have work to do on it. We have more to add to it. This is just something that they can budget for. As we get time and we have more money, then we can move some. I, for one, am proud of this, that we built this. It's the first commission that's ever had it, just for paving projects. I kind of find it unique that today we've heard some people discussing and complaining about moving pennies from the school budget, but that was the same people that were saying remove the pennies from school budget and put it toward paving versus doing this tax. So I'm proud we made the decision we made, and we moved, and hope we can move forward and increase this budget some over time. Not saying we need new taxes, just hopefully we can balance things out and get some more moved into it. All I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Doty. Mr. Neesmith?
That's good, Mr. Doty, that we've made a start in the right direction.
Nine.
But we need to go a lot further than what we made a start for. And how are we gonna do that? We're gonna have to discuss how we're gonna get our roads paved. You're gonna have a tax increase to do it? Or our revenue's gonna be greater next year to do it? People are upset on these roads. That was the #1 priority of the report that they come out with, what people thought about the county was roads. And we're gonna address 5 miles of it this year. That's all I got to say about it.
Ms. Howell?
Just, thank you, sir. To follow along, you know, if we can move 6, we could have moved 3, we could have moved 3 here. And certainly I know I'm in the seat because that was the #1 complaint. And I agree we have a start. But it did come off of the, we have citizens that even a little bit of increase in tax is tough. So I hope that, I forget the last time it was 7 or 9 cents, and this time it's 6 cents, and I just want to remind you all that we might need to look at moving some money into paving, even though we have this, because we do have a strong budget and all that, and we do have money in the sock drawer. But golly, those 5 miles, somebody's gonna get lucky. who lives on 5
Real
miles
lucky.
right there. But anyway, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ms. Green?
I'd like to resound the same thing as Miss Peggy said, that I heard that continually, our roads. And I know, I'm proud of this commission in that they did take a step forward, and past commissions have not addressed this situation in any shape, form, or fashion. There was no money there to take care of that. We need to look at it, but 5 miles is not much. It's very little. I could have walked 5 miles when I was a whole lot younger and gotten away with it. We need to look at some other revenues, but we need to be good stewards of Hamblen County citizens' money. And in being good stewards, hopefully, we can find money to do that with, but we need to be diligent and conservative, as 90% of this commission is run on that ticket, and be accountable. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Doty?
Just one last thing, as I brought up before, it will take, in addition, in excess of $120 million at today's cost to pave every road in Hamblen County. If you want to do that over a 30-year period, that's $4 million. We need to come, if you're wanting to get it, and this is not enough, and I understand, this was a start. $4 million is an exuberant increase in property tax rates or any type of tax rate. And that would be to get it done in a 30-year time frame if costs don't increase, which there's no way they're not going to. Yes, we need more, and I hope people work toward it, but we got to come up with a legitimate plan that'll work it out over a time period. And this, as I said, only gives them something they can plan for. We can come up with additional monies and say, here's some additional that you can use to pay some as we get time and as we get funding. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Doty. Anyone else?
Cindy Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Bill Green,
No.
Stan Harville,
Yes.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Peggy Howe,
Yes.
Joe Huntsman,
Aye.
Rodney Long,
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith,
No.
Mike Richardson.
Abstain.
One abstain, 2 no,
9 yes, 2 no, 1 abstain. Motion passes.
The next budget's the debt service fund, 151, and in debt service, you'll see this chart here. It just shows you the structure of our debt now, and the purple line is our revenue that's going into debt service, and it's right at $10 million, $10.1 million. And for the next couple of years, we'll use a little bit of fund balance, not a whole lot, and that was part of the plan a few years ago when we set up the finance plan for the Justice Center, is that we would build fund balance and then spend a little of it on some years. Actually, this is in a better shape than we anticipated when we issued bonds for the Justice Center. So this graph just shows you the fund balance. It peaked at around 13 million. It's been kind of level the last couple of years, and then next year spend about just under $300,000 of fund balance to pay our loans. We will make the final payment on the E4A loan, which was done in the 2000s. That was part of the financing for several school renovations and additions and building of the new Eastridge and Westview middle schools back in the 2000s. And so all the money that was borrowed back then, it will be paid off this coming year. And our interest income We moved some interest income back from 176 into 151, and so we anticipate spending about 300,000 of fund balance to pay our loans, but this is the debt service budget.
This,
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Mr. Long, second. Mr. Cutshaw? Mr. Neesmith?
this, E4A loan, that debt's been paid off.
It'll be paid off next May.
How much was that originally for? How much were we taking out of that back in the day? How many million?
At that time, in the early 2000s, for over like a 4-year period, we borrowed about $40 million. And this one was, I think, $10 million.
10 million on this. We still got some to go.
Just one payment left,
That's all we're on.
one payment.
So where will those funds be? Will it be in,
They'll be used to make payments on the bonds that we issued for the Justice Center and for the elementary school.
so once we get that debt paid off on this one, that money that's continue to come in is gonna go for the sheriff, the Justice Center.
Well, all right, look at this. Hold on just a minute. Let's see. Look at this graph right here, Wayne, on the screen right in front of you. And what this shows is as time goes on, is our payments will go down on the Justice Center. Our total payments will go down, and you'll have the opportunity to move revenue to other purposes. Or, the schools have asked for the renovation of Lincoln and Meadowview, to put walls up there, which can be done without any additional revenue.
Okay. Thomas, that may be our ace in the hole. We may get some of that money to fix roads with,
Amen.
instead of what everybody else wants. That's all I had.
Okay, anyone else? Call a vote.
Debbie Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Edmund Green,
No.
Stan Harville,
Yes.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Peggy Howe,
Yes.
Joe Hunston,
Yes.
Rodney Long,
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith,
Yes.
Mike Richardson.
Yes.
Motion passes 11-1.
Mr. Chairman, that's all the budgets that we need recommended to the county commission. The commission we have some work to do in finance, and we've got to advertise the budget and post the resolutions in the newspaper. And then you'll vote on 3 resolutions on the 20th. And that's the tax resolution, the general fund, the appropriations resolution and the nonprofit resolution. So those will be the 3 votes on June the 20th. And then finance has 15 days to submit our budget to the comptroller. So that's our next step.
Chairman
Thank you,
Long,
Mr. Mayor.
may I ask a question, please? Mr. Mayor, is there any chance that our nonprofit book entirely could be put online so citizens can see exactly what folks asked for and exactly what they got?
What they ask for and is in the budget book.
Okay, but can,
Your budget book, they ask for, and what's in the budget is in your budget book, and it's online.
the whole nonprofit book, though, is online as well?
I didn't say that.
Oh, that's what I asked.
I said, the whole nonprofit book is not online.
Is there a chance we could put it online so citizens could see what we give out or whatever?
Things that thick.
Is there a way that we could do that, is my question, sir?
There's a way we can do it, sure,
Okay, is it something you'd consider, sir?
sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of announcements. We have a upcoming budget meetings on June 20th. We'll adopt the budget, the appropriation resolution, the tax levy resolution, and the appropriations to nonprofits and charitable organizations will be coming up. Any other questions or comments? We stand adjourned.
Good deal.